Well, first we're going to replay, because some will have missed some of the intel from last week. That was in part 4 or part 5, whatever, whichever one it was. And the latest clownery is Nasara is happening in January or February this year. No, that will not be happening. And neither will the San Germain Trust or the Heritage Trust and all the other nonsense that the alt media clowns push out. And we mentioned about the clowns pulling off a fake RV, except it had no pay, as there's no funds. And Kim ended up reversing it all out and then issued this. All of the money borrowed by the Black Sun and Rothschilds on behalf of the militaries, agencies, UN, World Bank, IMF, the Federal Reserve, and central banks worldwide for the last 500 years that the trust bought and paid for was all called in, all the debt. All bonds, treasuries, central bank bonds, and the likes that the trust funded against, including the bonds against the birth certificates, were also called in on New Year's Eve. Now, either the debtor, which is the banks, agencies, or central banks, need to pay up, or they need to get the Black Sun or Rothschilds to pay on their behalf. And they were given until Friday last week to sort that all out. Now, if they don't pay and things are sorted out, then there's the issue that the military or agency or central bank will be paid out of X country's government funds, such as the Republic of the United States Fund. The funds will pay off the debt, but that will retain ownership of said military, agency, or central banks to its respective government. In other words, those entities will be nationalised, no longer private entities. If a private bank such as JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, Deutsche Bank, or Bank of America, those organisations and their notes will be paid by the American People's National Debt Relief Fund, and the American people will own the bank stock. All of it will be filed properly with the SEC. In the case of Deutsche Bank Germany, that will come out of the German People's Funds. In case of the Sberbank, the Russian People's Funds, HSBC, the China People's Funds, and so on. But those banks will be owned by the peoples of the respective countries. We can then renegotiate all lending terms with all banks that are owned by the people, including who runs it. Essentially, it turns that bank into a cooperative bank, and all the people have shares in it. And that would mean bye-bye to greedy CEOs and several levels of management. Now, the total amount of debt being called in worldwide is about $16.8 quadrillion, which is 15 zeros. So it's up to the Black Sun Empire or the Rothschilds to pay up, or the military central banks have to pay. Either way, they have to sort that out, and that is still ongoing. And we congratulated them on their reverse RV, and Kim said the only way to win the game is to not play, and we're playing our own game of chess. Your move. I can tell you that didn't go down too well. This piece was written on a media site, and House Speaker Nancy Pelosi isn't just condemning President Trump's decision to rightfully, it says, take out Iranian terrorist leader Qasem Soleimani. She's submitting a resolution to tie his hands in the future. In other words, she's attempting to limit President Trump's ability to protect Americans at home and abroad from Iranian terrorists planning lethal attacks. And last week, the Trump administration conducted a provocative and disproportionate military airstrike targeting high-level Iranian military officials, Pelosi wrote in a letter to her Democrat colleagues, falsely painting Iran as the victims of US aggression. And she went on, this week the House will introduce and vote on a war powers resolution to limit the president's military actions regarding Iran, and this resolution is similar to the resolution introduced by Senate Tim Kaine, and it reasserts Congress's long-established oversight responsibilities by mandating that if no further congressional action is taken, the administration's military hostilities with regards to Iran cease within 30 days. Now, President Trump's decision to take out Soleimani along with Abu Mahdi al-Muhandis was a defensive action against an imminent threat in the aftermath of a US embassy attack in Baghdad, considering Soleimani's plans to launch attacks throughout Syria, Lebanon and Iraq against American targets. The strike was deemed as proportional. Now for the real issue behind that strike, which you won't get off Portal, people. Soleimani was a Red Dragon disciple. And that's got nothing to do with the clown on the internet, the fake ambassador. For those of you who have seen the pictures of his demise online, which was a security breach, I might add, and will be dealt with, Soleimani wore a ruby red ring, and that is signifying he was part of the Red Dragon group. Now, Mr. Soleimani has been replaced, and a deal has been made with that replacement, and all the hostilities will be over soon. It will not escalate like the Portal people are making out. You know, their posturing and fear porn is beyond pathetic now. Their lies, twists and spins make them look exactly what they are: treasonous, anti-human slime balls. What started all that? The US embassy attack in Baghdad on December the 31st was ordered by General Mattis. Yes, you heard that right. Designed to provoke more conflict and force the president and others to attack another fake enemy target. I'll repeat that again. General Mattis ordered an attack on our own embassy. For those with the right clearance, go and check it for yourselves. We ask how and why is that allowed? This is the same guy that was involved in trying to take out the president 12 months ago. So is it generals gathered in the masses, or will generals gather in the Mattis and drag Pompeo and Kushner in with them, in my opinion? Then we had the alleged retaliation fired on the Iraqi base housing US troops that miraculously killed no one. 22 missiles and no one injured or dead. And even more miraculously, it was not detected by the so-called most sophisticated surveillance and shielding systems. and no anti-missile weapons were launched to block alleged incoming missiles. That alone tells you something was awry. Now, the media, of course, showed footage and then saying the takeoff of missiles was from Iran and landed on the Iraqi base, but provide no actual proof, which is the key. Showing something taken off and announcing it was Iran does not constitute proof. No one asked them, how did they know it was in Iran? And if they did, why wasn't anti-missiles launched to stop it? The reality was it was a staged event, 100%.